Hello everyone, good to see you again. Before we get into the video, editing Josh here, just wanted to say this audio that you're going to be hearing throughout everything is kind of because this lovely microphone right here had some problems when I was recording for some reason, I don't know. Yeah, so if it's a little meh, that's why. I just wanted to say, I know this isn't really my usual content, but if you enjoy it, let me know and leave a comment. I actually want to know what you guys think of this kind of new stuff. And I want to try and start streaming soon, so if you got any ideas for what do you think I should stream or what do you guys want to see, just leave a comment and yeah, enjoy. Hello everyone, thank you for coming back to my great channel. I know, my excellent top tier YouTube premium channel. It's good to see everyone coming back. Now I know if you've taken a look at my video library, you would notice that a lot of videos are what you would call critical thinking, highbrow entertainment. It's a lot of dumb shit, honestly. But this is something that I've been looking into, very interested in lately. And I thought it would be something kind of fun to talk about, just cause why not? My channel, I can do what I want. Who fucking cares? But I think it'd be fun. It's something I want to talk about. I'm gonna talk about it. I've divided these up into 3 categories. I'll explain them to you as we go along through all this. But before we get going, I just want to say this video definitely inspired by my man Wendigoon over here. Kind of got me into learning how to enjoy conspiracy theories, honestly, because you can enjoy them. They're not just for crazy people who have, tinfoil hats and are always on VPNs searching up crazy shit online. It's just something kind of fun to think about, and next time you're over hanging out with your friends, you can be like, hey, did you know? So maybe you'll learn something today. Who knows? But let's get into it. Alright, first one we have up on our list is the good. Now the good is what I like to call the fun conspiracy. This is what, I like to enjoy most of the time, are the conspiracy theories that they don't really hurt anyone, and they're kind of fun to poke and laugh at and be like, dude, fucking stupid. So I got a couple written down I want to talk about, and kind of give you some examples of what I'm going for. Alright, first up we have the moon landing. So a lot of people say the moon landing was made up by the US government to force the USSR to go bankrupt by spending all this money on rocket research. There's also the idea that Stanley Kubrick, the director for 2001 Space Odyssey, directed and basically set up and filmed everything for the US government and all that. Do I believe this one's real? No, this is 100% fake. It's ridiculous. It's preposterous. It's just kind of stupid. Honestly, a little bit of it makes sense. You're in such a heated space race with the USSR, just wanting to beat out communism. It's a better way to beat someone than make them lose all their money. Kind of makes sense, but it's a no. It's a no for me. Big no. Everyone's heard of this one, flat Earth. Pretty memeable now at this point, honestly. Debunked by everyone. Definitely one of the more fun ones to poke at. Flat gang, baby. This one kind of falls into a general category for some of these more well-known but out there conspiracies, where it's the more people that have to be involved to cover this up and make all these people just kind of stay silent about it, it's to the point to where it's okay, there's no way millions of people are just not talking about this and being silenced about it. It's just ridiculous. Because for something like this to pull off, everyone would have to keep it a secret, right? So you'd need airline pilots, astronomers, and you also need the cooperation from basically most world governments to keep this the secret. It's just ridiculous, honestly. Moving on. Birds aren't real. This is a fun one. You seen a bird? It ain't real. This mostly applies to the idea that birds like seagulls and pigeons are just drones. They're drones made up by the US government to spy on people. I think the main theory behind this is, have you ever seen a baby pigeon or a baby seagull? I haven't. Have you? Pretty suspicious to me, honestly. North Korean utopia. This one is something a little bit more obscure, but also, I think, kind of a fun one to think about. So North Korean utopia is the idea that North Korea is actually this utopia. It is like a perfect state almost, or if not, at least it runs properly, it functions well. There's not really any problems there. But it's portrayed by the Western media to get people against communism. From what I can see, it's mostly just about the West not liking communism, which, yeah, historically makes sense, but come on. Last Thursdayism is another one that I read about. It's basically the idea that, so, if God created Adam and Eve, basically, he had to put them into a world that already existed with like fully grown grass, and they would have been already fully grown adults, so to speak, and you know, everything would have been developed all around them and themselves also. So by that logic, any point in the timeline we could have came into existence and not known. Say last Thursday, I could have came into existence, everything around me would have been already developed for me, my memories, every thought I've ever had, this stupid fucking channel, every relationship I've ever had or been in with people around me, my family, all of it could have been just a fabrication of my memory until I was created last Thursday. I'm not really the biggest fan of this one. It sounds like something a stoner would talk about when he's really high to his friends, like, bruh, think about it. What if we were born last Thursday? And I'm pretty sure that's who created it. It's just some really high dude. That's at least what I want to believe. That makes it a lot more fun, honestly. Now the Mandela effect is a lot more popular. I'm sure everyone watching this has probably gone through some sort of Mandela effect with something they've seen before. Now this originally started with Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa. A lot of people remember him dying in prison in the 90s. They didn't learn about his passing in recent years, I think it was 2012, but they thought it was just a fake because they remember him dying in prison in the mid-90s. A couple famous one, Bernstein Bears, Looney Tunes always having a U instead of the T-O-O. Yeah. Fruit Loops, they always had it like that. Some of these I don't really know too well. This one I definitely remember. The Fruit of the Loom cornucopia. I swear. But there used to be a fucking cornucopia there. They had it at one point, and I've been told that there isn't. I've been fucking lied to. Now, an explanation for this theory is basically that this is like a parallel universe, and this is like those two universes almost merging together in certain points. So there's like spillover in people's memories because some things are a little different, some things are they've been tweaked and changed. It's not 100% as they remember. Now, of course, most of this is just probably people from when they were kids not knowing how to spell, but, you know, like, again, it's not really the point of a lot of it. A lot of this is just more, a lot of these ones are more just fun, you know, they're just like, oh, that'd be cool, yeah, Of course, it's stupid and probably not true, but that's not fun. That's not fun to think about. Come on. And the last one I have on the fun tier is anything that has been on Ancient Aliens. The whole idea that aliens built the pyramids and were in contact with people thousands of years ago is just ridiculous and also hilarious to watch when you're hanging out with your friends at a party. It's the worst and best thing I've ever seen. Now, I didn't have really anywhere to put this because it's kind of like its own little thing. I really want to stick to the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I just kind of put this in like a category in between these. So, little sus is what I call these. These are ones that could be true, could not be true. There still needs to probably be some more evidence, if not, but they're still like good thought pieces to look at. And relating back to the Ancient Aliens comment, there's the idea that there was a comet about 13,000 years ago that wiped out most of humanity at that time. Now this would explain a lot of how a lot of civilizations at that time kind of just disappeared for some reason, like the Mayas, the Aztecs.
Bruh.
It would explain how a lot of other civilizations around that time kind of just mysteriously fell off the map, were just never seen again. It's a little weird. This, of course, was made famous by dude Graham Hancock, who wrote a book about most of this and goes, of course, way more in depth than I'm sure than I could about it. It also this also kind of brings into play a bit of, like, talk about Atlantis, because it's theorized that there was a shift in the climate after this, and there was like sea level rises and stuff like that. So it kind of plays into that whole theory too. Not as credible as this. There has been, research done, and it's almost confirmed, but not enough scientific backing just yet. The Stanley Meyer water-powered car. And this was supposedly a car that ran on just like water and like the electrical process. Though a lot of people have basically theorized that it's kind of impossible to do it like that because the process to get energy, the way he described it, would consume more energy than it outputted, so it wouldn't be efficient at all. But that's not what I'm talking about here, is it? But allegedly he built this car, ran off water, and he was hoping that it would replace the oil cars. Oh, messing with monopolies? No, you don't, sir. Well, one day when he was in meeting with an investor, he took a sip of some cranberry juice, proceeded to hold his throat, vomit violently, and then his dying words were, "I've been poisoned," and then just died. It's theorized that, big money oil tycoons didn't want him creating this because that would, ruin their business. They wouldn't have as much money. But it's really more obscure and kind of hard to research into. Hold on. It's a dog. It's a big dog. The JFK assassination was set up by the CIA. Now this one is pretty more popular. There's a lot of evidence supporting this theory, and there's some kind of denying it, but it's pretty sus. It's basically the idea that Lee Harvey Oswald was not the only shooter. He was a part of it, but he wasn't the lone shooter. In the official CIA reports, it said that there was 3 gunshots fired at the president's car, but many civilians around the area heard approximately 6 or 7 gunshots, a lot more There was a couple eyewitnesses accounts of someone on a grassy knoll right off to the side of the caravan, about perpendicular to the road. There was also apparently footage of this person on the grassy knoll that showed like gun smoke coming up that would like confirm that there was more than one person. There was a committee formed to review the footage and basically kind of see if they needed to reopen this investigation. Well, the night after they looked at the footage, it was stored in a CIA lockup where it just disappeared, you know. Whoops, guess we lost it. That footage of the president getting shot? Oh, sorry, just gone. I don't know. Now it was theorized that it was the CIA because John F. Kennedy didn't really like the CIA, after Bay of Pigs especially, and it was thought that he might try and disband them and get rid of them. So they did it to him first. Alright, now we're on to the bad. The bad is real ones. These are conspiracy theories that have since been confirmed. These are basically real conspiracy theories that have come to light as being true. There's no denying any of this really. Martin Luther King Jr. was killed by the CIA. Now, a lot of this one, I'm just summarizing this basically. If you want to watch Wendigoon's video on this, he goes way more in depth. But basically, the CIA saw Martin Luther King Jr. as kind of a threat to the social, economic that they wanted to see. So they planned to kill him. The man that allegedly shot him, James Earl Ray, was allegedly given a gun by some guy he met while he was on the run because he escaped from prison. It was the exact same model as the one that was used to kill MLK. And there was only one person who apparently saw James Earl Ray shoot from, which was a window, to put it in right there, which was across the way. He shot across the street. It was across the way. I'm really bad at explaining stuff, aren't I? There was only one man that apparently saw him, and it was the town drunk. The man was literally referred to as like the drunkard of the town, and everyone knew, like basically, yeah, I hit this guy. It never makes any sense. Many people believe that there was a man, of course, on a grassy knoll, a little bit lower below the building, that shot. Of course, once, they heard gunshots and people started kind of commotion around, it was believed that he just kind of escaped into the crowds and was never seen. The King family even went to court to sue the CIA for planning to kill Martin Luther King Jr. And guess what? They fucking won. Yes, there was so much overwhelming evidence that there was this grander conspiracy to shoot MLK, and that it most likely wasn't James Earl Ray. That yes, it was most likely the CIA. MK Ultra. Now this was a experiment from the 1950s to 1960s conducted by the CIA. Again, gotta love them, great people up there. Now the CIA believed that communist Russia, aka USSR, had somehow been able to develop this mind control thing where they could take control over people. So of course, we gotta have some of that for ourselves. They got a bunch of people to come in and do these tests, and they dosed them with huge amounts of LSD, I might add, like enormous amounts, and then proceeded to torture them. And some people were even apparently killed during these experiments. Of course, most of them after were just horribly mentally scarred and couldn't function as like a normal person anymore because their brain had been completely fried. Yeah, it was just some terrible stuff by our government. Gotta love them. Project Paperclip is an interesting one. And so basically after World War II, the U.S. government employed about 1,600 ex-Nazi scientists, engineers, and doctors, stuff like that, and used them in like a to help advance a lot of our stuff, and mostly rockets. Like that's where the majority of everything went to, was rocket and aerospace, because can't let the commies win, can you? Now, a lot of people might wonder, why would we hire, Nazis after, the atrocities that they had just done? We had just got done fighting them. Now, I don't want to sound like a Nazi sympathizer. It's really not something I was hoping to ever have to say, but here we are. I know a lot of Germans back then had no idea about the extent of the prosecution of Jews was going to. Although out of 1600, I'm sure some of them knew. Anyway, I don't really see too much of a problem with it, honestly. Unless you hired them straight from the camps, then you got a problem. Bohemian Grove is a real interesting one. So it's this place in, I think, San Francisco, where every year global elites, actors, journalists, bankers, a lot of high-powered people come together and have just a little party, just a little hangout, get together. Although on several occasions they have been documented burning effigies. I think it was of a goat. I don't know. I'll have to correct myself right here because I don't think that's right. A little hangout isn't that bad, but when it's taken into context of it's all these high global elites and they're doing kind of weird little culty stuff, and especially after the whole Epstein thing, it gets a lot more suspicious. The Tuskegee syphilis study was an experiment done on about 400 black men in Alabama. It was where I think most of them, about 300 of them, had syphilis already, and about 100 didn't. So basically, I think researchers wanted to see how syphilis kind of evolved if it went untreated. Now, of course, they couldn't, tell them, be like, hey, could we not treat you for this bad disease? No, they told them they had bad blood, which apparently was like slang for several different ailments back in the day down there. And they just drew blood from them to see how it progressed and what happened to it, basically. And however, there was a little thing that happened in the mid-40s called penicillin, which cured syphilis. Oh, great! We don't have to worry about this experiment anymore. No, they kept going. Yeah, it went on for another 30 years. They did not get treated at all. They weren't cured at all. I think in the end about half of the people died, and the syphilis spread to most of the people's wives. So yeah, that was pretty bad. The NSA spying on us. Now I remember when I was younger and heard about those popular conspiracy theories everyone kind of sees online. Before Edward Snowden, this was kind of laughed at, being like, haha, government spying on us, everyone kind of thought they were doing, but no one really knew. It was until Edward Snowden came out, leaked everything, found that the US was collecting phone records, they stored a bunch of message texts, they bugged about 40 embassies of other countries. That was nice of them. And they hacked into China's internet approximately 60,000 times. 60,000 times, Jerry. So yeah, it's all but out there now that they do that. But at one point, I remember it was a conspiracy theory. Now, I don't want to get too in-depth with this. I think this is more along the side of dangerous conspiracy theories. These are ones that I feel actually can harm people, can bring distraught to people. These are ones that you should avoid, and I think these ones bring up a good argument as to why people should really check sources, cite correctly, do their due diligence. Depopulation funds is the idea that they're group of world leaders like Bill Gates and other people, I think Monsanto is involved in it, that they are basically creating different stuff under the name of, you know, helping people out and helping the world, when they're really creating like diseases and other stuff that will kill and depopulate the world. COVID vaccines have RFIDs in them. This one, of course, been proved wrong multiple times. You know, you can put the magnet up to your shoulder, you ain't gonna feel shit. It's just a bunch of like propaganda to get you to not take the vaccine, really. It's either that or it's just people being fucking so stupid that they're willing to believe that the government has to put a chip in you to track you, when literally the fuck this is, like, they're already doing that, so I don't think they need one in your arm to track you. 5G is causing COVID. I remember this one from back at the beginning of the pandemic. I used to think it was funny. Now, not so much. It's pretty dangerous, I'd say. I know a lot of people were shooting just cell phone towers in general. They weren't even 5G ones. They're just shooting at most ones. And of course, trying to say that you got a virus from cell phone waves and that it's entering your brain is just beyond dumb, honestly. Obama birth certificate. This one is more, I feel like, along the lines of just straight making stuff up to try and silence someone or discredit them. It's pretty just pitiful, honestly. Now, if I'm talking about conspiracy theories, I'm going to bring this one up before I end. No, I'm not going to bring that one up, actually. That one's bad. I don't think I'm going to bring that one up. That's a touchy subject. I'm not going to talk about that one. But yeah, those are some conspiracy theories. Again, I just really been into looking up conspiracy theories late at night lately. Shout out again, Wendigoon. I'll have his channel linked down below. So what should you take away from this video? I think the dividing it up into the 3 categories is a pretty good way to look at the whole conspiracy theory genre of stuff. You know, fun stuff is great, you know. It's just stuff to laugh at with your friends, you know, kind of be like, oh, that's stupid. Doesn't hurt anyone. If people believe it, whatever, it's funny. I think the real ones can be pretty good too, because you learn some stuff that's true, you know. Operation Paperclip, the syphilis study, and you know, MLK, that's a really big one. He's a very prominent figure in history. I never knew that the King family had sued the US government. That's crazy. And they won. That's the thing too, they won. That's insane. A lot of conspiracy theories are weighed down, I think, a lot by the bad. You have all these people like Alex Jones and Rush Limbaugh that just push bad conspiracy theories, hurt ones that will like go after people and groups of people, and it just hurt. It just is really destructive. And I think the bad ones, really, you just need to be more careful and kind of make sure that you're not trying to spread just blatant stuff that can really hurt people and affect everyone else as a society together.
Nobody's gonna watch this.
What?
Nobody likes your YouTube channel. It's dead.